Welcome to Trina Talk. This is the podcast where guests share their stories of pursuing their passions, living a fulfilled life, and empowering others. Each week, I talk with inspiring leaders, business owners, and people with amazing stories from around the world in unscripted conversations as they share their successes and failures. This podcast is all about empowering you to keep striving in your personal and professional life. I am your host, Trina L. Martin. Welcome to Trina Talk. If you're listening, go out and subscribe to the show so that you won't miss an episode. My goal here with Trina Talk is to empower and impact people all around the world. So I need your help to do that. Go out and tell your friends, your family, and everyone you know to listen to Trina Talk. There's a new episode every Monday. Welcome to episode 199. The topic of this week's episode is Ready to Build Authentic Style. My guest this week is Erin Mathis. Erin is the co-founder of the Style Core, is a style coach for women in midlife who feel stuck in a rut and want to empower themselves to take charge of their future. She helps women up-level their personal style so they can show the world who they really are and align their image with the impact they want to make. She applies the same process she used to transform her own image to help her clients reinvent themselves so they can confidently show up as the captivating women they are and tell the world who they are through their look. From her hometown in Northern California, Erin coaches women around the world online through her signature transformational program, Your $1 Million Look. Hi, Erin. Welcome to Trina Talk.
Hi, nice to be here today.
It's nice to have you here and speaking with you. I love what you're doing. And before we delve into all the questions, I always ask my guests to tell the listeners who you are and what made you the Erin that you are today.
Good. I'm a style coach and a mom and an entrepreneur. Not in that order. Let's see, it would be mom, entrepreneur, style coach. I guide women, mostly women, some men, but mostly women, to create authentic style from head to toe that helps them make the impact they want to make, attract the people and the opportunities they want to attract, and most important, feel the way they want to feel.
Wow. I love that. And one of the reasons why I love that is because, I'm kind of a fashionista myself, but in business, and I know you're going to talk about this, but how you show up just as yourself can make or break business, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So tell us about that. Tell us about, because you have your business is the Style Core, and just tell us about what you do and how style does impact you, your business, your brand, and all of that.
Yeah, style has a really big impact. It affects, number one, the way you feel about yourself. It affects the way others perceive you. You're telling a story, whether you realize it or not. Before a word comes out of your mouth, they see even your picture or they see you in person. There's a story being told. So it affects how people perceive you. And then it affects the kinds of opportunities, connections, and relationships that you attract. So, that 7-second rule, they say, first impressions are made very quickly. A door can open or a door can close or pass you right by, depending on how you're presenting yourself. So I tell people, dress for the role that you want to play, dress for the impression that you want to make. And most people get that. But I think that the challenge for a lot of people is they don't necessarily know how to put themselves together in a way that, kind of both flatters them, their coloring, their body type, and also reflects their authentic personality, and also sends that message they want to be sending psychologically, because there's this whole layers of psychology to our style. So that's where I encourage people to get help. You can't be an expert at everything. Goodness gracious. Don't try to do it all. You got a health issue, you go to your doctor, you go to your naturopath. If you don't naturally you're not a natural fashionista, you struggle with it, get a style coach. And there's so many different options for how that can happen these days. can be online. A lot of it is online now.
Yeah, and talk about that because like you were saying, how people show up and the 7-second rule. And I think I read something years ago. It's like um, people will hear like, a certain percentage, and I'm going to get it wrong, a certain percentage of what you say, a certain percentage of what you do. But the big percentage is how you show up, what they see. That's what they're going to always remember about you.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It's like I was saying, it tells a story. So there's all these different levels. But there's an interesting psychological study that shows that the clothes we wear affect our behavior, our mood, our confidence, even the way we interact with other people. And it's called enclothed cognition. So it's a very real phenomenon. So I've seen that with a lot of clients when they kind of align their image with how they want to be perceived and who they are, they start attracting opportunities into their life that align with who they want to be. So it's pretty powerful.
So I'm going to ask the question that I know probably our listeners are thinking. So when you talk about this and style and all this, do I have to go somewhere and spend a lot of money on my style?
No, you don't. And that's the great thing. Let me tell you a little bit, because you do a lot of technology communication stuff, right? That's kind of your niche. So style typically used to be in person, mostly in person, right? And then the pandemic came and there was this big shift that made it a lot more available online. But I was actually a couple years ahead of pandemic shift when I found myself had moved from Los Angeles to a small town in Northern California where my family lived, my hometown. And I was asking the question, how can I serve people all around the world as a style coach from this little small town? So I took the methods that I'd learned from my mentor and business partner, Mathis, who's amazing, and kind of put them into this online style coaching process that anybody can do from anywhere. You can just take a couple hours here, a couple hours there. You can work at your own pace. So I was kind of ahead of that big shift, so that when the pandemic came, I had kind of tested out these online methods. I worked with interactive clients all over the world, like different countries. And when the pandemic came, I was already serving clients online. So I started to train other experts to do the same thing and started creating like digital tools and templates that experts could use. But what all that boils down to for the listener is that I've created this program called Your $1 Million Look. It's an online style coaching program that you can start anytime. And it just walks you through this 7-step process of really the things you need to know to build your authentic style. So number one, it's your style archetype. Who are you? Like, what's unique about you? What do you love visually? What brings you visual delight? And how do you bring that into your style, into your environment? Number two is your colors. What colors work well on your natural palette? What colors represent your personality, right? Because some people are quiet, some people are bold, all in between. So you discover your style, your colors, your body type, which styles actually work for my body type. Pants, what kind of jackets and length should I do? And then we look at your proportions, how to put outfit proportions together so it's interesting and flattering. Accessories. We actually help you analyze the shapes in your face, because when you repeat that in your accessories, there's this beautiful visual harmony. And then putting outfits together. What's the formula? How do you do it? How do you get it all working for you so that you can have ease in your daily life? So my clients are from all over the world and they work inside a style coaching program. There's some coaching opportunities as well as just being led through with videos and exercises.
Well, and when you're working with your clients, how do you get them to that point? So let's take us through someone contacting you and saying, you know what, I have an important business meeting and I want to show up and represent my business how it is. I need your help. What is it? What's your process? What are you doing with them? Women of color in tech feel excluded, isolated, and treated as though they are invisible. We have to work twice as hard and be twice as good to get noticed. I help women of color in tech get past imposter syndrome, navigate the obstacles in the tech workplace, and advance in their careers by being confident, showing up authentically, and negotiating the pay and promotions they deserve so that they can represent and remain in tech. If you are a woman of color in tech and you're ready to take command of your career path, then Tech Trifecta is for you. It's my private coaching program and is now open. Enroll today at tlmintl.link/Tech Trifecta.
Pretty much that whole that 7-step process that I just described, that can be done one-on-one, like virtually. I can be done one-on-one in person, but we always start with that, your style archetype, so that you can be representing yourself authentically. And we have this fascinating exercise called the favorites exercise. You will find like 5 to 7 or 7 to 8 pictures from art, nature, architecture, exteriors, or interiors. Nothing fashion, just art, nature, exteriors that you visually love. Like when you see it, you go on Pinterest, you look at some images, you create a board, my favorites. And then you describe what it is you love about those images. And you might say, oh, in this, house, this picture of this house, I love how modern it is and how dramatic and bold. Somebody else might say, oh, I love this quaint little Victorian house and all the little details. And you describe, the precious, the jewels. I love the colors. I love the riot of color, or I love the simplicity of color. So whatever they describe in all those 7 images, you begin to see this theme emerge, which is what they love visually, the visual qualities they love. And I will say, okay, now that's showing us your personality, showing us your heart, and we need to put that into your style. So if they were really drawn to modern, dramatic, bold, guess what their style is going to be?
Right.
Modern, dramatic, bold, So delicate, feminine, precious, that's the whole different thing. Right. Now, if you're bringing it to a business event, okay, you're going to be speaking. You're going to be in front of people. There are some dynamics that we're going to think about, which is showing power and authority.
Right.
You don't want to fade away into the background. You don't want to be really bland and neutral. You want to pop out. You want to be visually interesting. So their eyes go to your face and they listen to the words you're saying. They're not distracted by strange things in your outfit. So definitely when I'm advising somebody about speaking, it's a little bit more powerful and dramatic styles in general so that you can show up. Unless you're speaking to a crowd that's like really casual and you want to be more relatable and like down to earth, wear your jeans, wear a t-shirt, but make sure it's nice on your body type. It's not like a big baggy, unflattering look. So yeah, in terms of working with the client, we discover their style archetype. We ask those questions. How do you want to be perceived? So, if they say, I want to be perceived as approachable, down to earth, friendly, accepting. Okay. Then we're going to go with style that helps with that. If they say, I want to be perceived as polished, chic, kind of like a leader in my industry, organized, professional, then we're going to make sure their style reflects, the fit is perfect. The styles have a little more structure to convey that authority. The polish, it's not going to be like crazy all over the place, super trendy. So yeah, those are some things that we think about.
So are you working with everyone, or is it like the CEO, a celebrity? Who are your clientele?
My clientele is everyday people and primarily women in midlife and beyond who are saying, okay, whatever worked 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, it's not working anymore. My hair's changed. My body's changed. The makeup techniques, because I actually help people head to toe, hair and makeup, wardrobe, the clothes. It's not working. Maybe they lost themselves. They had kids. They put themselves last on the list. They got burned out. They worked too hard. There's all these things or maybe they had a divorce and they are like going back on the dating world. They want to. So a lot of women in midlife want to reinvent. Even men that I've worked with have said this. I want to reinvent. So who am I now? Let's figure that out. And what I teach people is that you can take 10 years off the appearance of your age with style techniques. Yes. I mean, it's dramatic. And I have this free guide that I want your audience to grab, my top 5 tips, because a lot of those tips are some of these like, oh, you want to take 5-10 years off? Try this. And I show the before and after so they can see. But like a lot of people, wouldn't guess that I'm 50 years old. And I would say, well, it's style techniques, hair, makeup, and wardrobe. There's things you can do.
Yes.
So, if somebody wants to reinvent, look more youthful, vibrant, and why do they want to look more youthful? Because you know what, people like to, but also there's ageism in our culture. Right. And, you can fight it, you can. And if you feel called to do that, go for it.
Right.
But if you're just like, I've got other battles to fight, I just want to look fresh and relevant, then there are some techniques you can use.
Wow. And, and I love that because you're right. When you get to a certain point in your life, especially, and I know a few women who have like retired and they've kind of just got lost because they're like, yeah, I used to wear suits to work all the time. So I've retired. I don't have suits anymore. But then they go, now I'm in sweats every day. And that's not what I want to do. So yeah, people really need the help. So what is the reaction that once you give them this head to toe makeover, what are you seeing and what are the reactions of your clients?
Oh my gosh, they get amazing feedback. People are just like, what happened to you? People who go through my $1 Million Look program have these transformations. Sometimes they're small, sometimes they're really big, and they get some pretty dramatic results in their life. Like one single mom that I worked with, had 4 kids, divorced. She really wanted to enter the dating world, re-enter. She had kind of bad photographs. Her photographs weren't great. And so we worked with her, on a budget in her case. And she got some fresh photos. They turned out amazing because I teach my clients kind of how to get good photos. And she put those on the dating app and suddenly had way more action. She's much fuller figure and she just looked gorgeous and feminine, and she started getting a lot more action. She met somebody several states away. They started dating long distance. He moved his whole life and job. They ended up dating, getting married. So, I definitely have clients who, when they have that goal to find a partner, this process is key in helping them package themselves in a way that is going to attract the kind of partner that they want to attract, or help attract a partner, because people are visual.
Right.
That's just how it is. Like it or hate it, people are visual. So if you can package yourself in a way that's flattering, it's still authentic. So that's a big one. Another gal I worked with is a doctor who has worked really hard, and she just was burned out. She was in that midlife kind of depressed, kind of dowdy, and she didn't like the way she looked. So she went through my program and really put the effort in and, did the live coaching calls and getting feedback, refining her looks. And she put together so many amazing looks that when she brought those looks into her professional world, people were just blown away. She's getting comments left and right. And she's right around 50. And she just took like 8 years off her appearance just by hair, makeup, and wardrobe techniques that she learned from me in our program. So people get good results. And then she feels better. She feels confident. Right. And she knows, I know this works for me. I'm stepping out the door confident.
Yeah. And I think that's a big part of it, because even like me, when I look to me, when I'm looking good, I feel better. I would
Yes.
stand straighter. I'm more confident. And I think that's what everyone is looking for, that confidence, so that when they can walk into that room and be like, I own the room.
That's right. That is absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, never underestimate the power of a good outfit on a bad day.
Yeah.
I like that
Yes. So true. Now, I'm curious, what are you seeing now that we're in the pandemic? Because, like last year, 2020 into 2021, people weren't going out, right? People weren't going out. They weren't going to work. We were all doing this all the time. And things are slowly starting to get back to a point where people are going into offices and things like that. How has the pandemic affected you, whether positively or negatively?
Me in terms of my business or
In
just
your
style in
business,
general in
in,
my
in
business?
style, and what are you seeing as far as style in general?
Okay, style in general, definitely the pandemic shifted everything way more casual,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm like good with that. I mean, that's fun, comfort, casual, that's great. I just want to encourage people, if you're going to be casual every day, invest in casual clothes that you love, that look great on you, that fit you well. They're not like all baggy and, oversized. Like, invest in casual clothes that flatter you. But don't be afraid to dress up. If you're glamorous, if you like to show up and dress up, don't hold back. Just because you stopped doing it for a while and people are a little more casual now, if that's the authentic you, bring it. Bring it.
Wow.
So, I will do that. And I encourage my clients to do that. Be you. If it brings you joy, do it.
That's really a good thing, because I remember when I was working corporate, like you said, you show up for the position that you want. So I was always dressed more than the environment, because most environments, they're like, casual, because I lived in Arizona for a while and it's hot. But I always kept it a notch or two above, and people would be like, why? And I'm like, well, that's just me. And, that's how I thought. And I feel good about that, and I could have probably just put on sandals, and, went about my day, but that didn't make me feel good going to work like that. So it really made me feel good to take it that one or two notches up and say, okay, let me do my makeup, let me do my hair, instead of just putting on, a t-shirt and some regular pants. Let me put on a really nice blouse and a skirt. So those things do make a difference. And a lot of people think, oh, no, it doesn't, but it does.
It does. And good for you. Good for you to do that. I also think it's kind of a gift. It's like a visual gift to people around you when it's worn with grace
Yes.
and humility. I mean, you don't have to be like humble, like, oh, little me, but I mean, you can wear it with confidence. But so, I'm all about confidence, but let's have confidence with kindness. We're not
Right.
trying to be like Miss Fashion Thing, unreachable, untouchable. I have got my armor on and you can't, you are not good enough. None of that. I'm just not a fan of that. I mean, if somebody is, that's fine. But I think it's a gift when you bring that beauty and you celebrate your own beauty and you bring it into the world with grace. It's wonderful.
Is great. And I have to ask, and like I said, I ask my guests all the time, like, the negatives and the positive things they went through, but what was it in particular for you that made you decide to pursue style, and for the people that you're pursuing it for?
Yeah, that's a good question. I let me see, where do I start? In my early 40s, I found myself, I was running an international style company because I'll back up just a little bit. Where do I start? If anybody's listening, you want the whole story, I've got a TED Talk. So you can search my TED Talk, and I actually tell a little bit of story about how I got into style and my mentor, and you'll see some amazing transformations that took place. But I married a guy whose mother is a pioneer and a leader in the image consulting industry. So together we came into business. We rebranded. We built this company called the Style Core. And I was basically the director of operations. I was running the company, more background, raising young kids. But I found myself in my early 40s, depressed, anxious, overweight, burned out. I was working too much. I had young kids. I was drinking too much. I just was not in a good place, kind of like that midlife crisis zone. And honestly, when, I looked around me and like my friends were in the same place. So I didn't feel like I was like unusual. And anybody in midlife, especially many can identify with this. Your hormones kind of start going crazy. You're on this like perimenopause roller coaster. Yeah, you feel me?
Yes.
So I was just like moody. It was not good. The antidepressants, because I'd struggled with depression for many years, but I had it kind of under control, and then that wasn't working anymore. It was a really, really hard, gritty season for me. And how did I make a turn? Because I actually made a really big shift in my life, but it took some years. Mm-hmm. I had to get myself stronger. One of the first things I did was give myself a makeover. Oh. Because I was, like I said, overweight. At that point, my hair was kind of darker. And I had to get some pictures for our company website, and I needed to represent. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't have time to lose the weight. You can't wait to lose the weight, right? So I took everything I had learned and just applied it to myself. I got hair extensions. I went blonde or blonder because I'd kind of been brown at that time. I bought clothes for my curvy body, just exactly as it was, but I got them tailored so it fit really nice. Shop consignment, shop new, put together a wardrobe. The pictures turned out great. And I felt this almost like a new woman, like it had this like wind under my wings that I needed, even just to see those pictures and go, okay, there I am again. There I am again. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm going to come out of this pit. And so that was one big step. And then as the years went on, I kind of had to actually within the year, I lost all the extra weight. Like that gave me just this boost of energy that allowed me to kind of start exercising again and eating better, drinking less. So that was a big shift. And then realizing too that I was running our company, was going fine, but it really wasn't what I was meant to be doing. I was not meant to be behind the scenes, even though I was accepting that. I was like, no, I'm fine. It really wasn't. It wasn't mine. And I was also kind of waiting on my partner to like have the technology business take off that we'd been working on. And it was taking a really long time. And I kind of finally decided, when you get to a place where you realize like nobody's coming to rescue you, that's when you become your own hero.
Yes.
And that's what I did. I was like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. So, running the company, it was just okay, but it like wasn't enough for me and enough income. So I began to dream and have visions and go, what could my life look like? I'm living in a small town, but I want to work with people all over the world. I want to do what I love, which is helping with style and transformation. I met with some business coaches to try to find, the right fit. And it was during one of those business coaching meetings. And I definitely recommend this because any entrepreneur listening or even a business person, like you've got to go outside of yourself, get a mentor, get a coach, go outside yourself. You can't just work harder. You have to work smarter. And that means like acquiring knowledge. So for me, that was taking online courses, studying the sales funnels of people that were doing online businesses, which was the direction that I knew I was going to do an online model. So I had this meeting with this business coach, Melissa, and during that meeting, my brain just like exploded. She just opened up just by asking questions. She opened up all these new ideas and possibilities for me to think about. And that kind of triggered the idea for my whole business model, which was online style coaching, which didn't really exist at that time. Like I was not finding it. I didn't see a model. So I had, pretty young kids at home, and I'm working, and I was working 60-hour weeks for probably an entire year. Wow. Just working so hard to build something out of nothing, to take control of my narrative, to write the next chapter build the train tracks so that I could get on a train and go where I wanted to go.
Yes.
And by pioneering that, it was super hard, but there was obviously, huge moments of, wow, I did it. And I got, 10 women at this high price point package to like do my pilot program. And it was really, really hard. It was years of just building and pioneering. But then of course, when the pandemic came, there was this moment of, wow, I'm ahead of the curve in my industry. I can train. So the timing was perfect. So I actually partnered up with a colleague, launched a whole training program and started training image experts all around the world to do online style coaching.
Wow.
So out of like this pit, me like climbing out of this pit of depression and discouragement and saying, nobody's coming to save me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do this. And I've got to work really damn hard to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, it started this momentum for this shift for me. And part of that for me has always been the image is a part of that. Like even when I felt super depressed and down, putting on my makeup, doing my hair and my wardrobe and stepping out into the world was how it was just one way for me to pull up out of that dark place, project the energy I wanted, and then you walk out and guess what comes back to you? That same kind of energy and opportunities. Even if you don't feel it inside, it's kind of like smile, even if you don't feel like it, put it on, even if you don't feel like it, and watch what happens when you bring that energy.
I love your story because you get to a point and you have to pull yourself up because no one's going to save you. And I think that's so important. And I love when guests come on and they tell those authentic stories like that, because I really feel in the world that we're in today with I call it the Instagram world, right? Everybody puts on the best show, the best filter. And it's like, I'm living my best Instagram life. And it's like, yeah, that's Instagram. So I love that because it didn't just poof happen overnight. You worked to build yourself. And like you said, get someone to help you, get a coach, because coaches have coaches. Mm-hmm. You can't do it by yourself.
I couldn't really afford a coach at that point. So I came up with a trade idea. I said, the coaches I want were a lot more expensive. So I said, hey, I'll give you this virtual makeover thing that I do if you give me some time. It was a trade.
Yeah.
So, you got to get creative.
Yeah. I mean, and I've had that and I've done that as well, and it's amazing how you can form partnerships and network and get yourself out there and just do the things, because it's what they say, if your dream is not, if it's not something that you have to work for, it's not big enough. So just putting in that extra time and making it happen and doing the things that you needed to do personally for yourself to build your dream and your business.
That's right.
Oh my goodness. I love that. It's just,
And for me too, I had to get healthier physically. So like I started seeing a naturopath, got on hormone replacement therapy, started taking supplements, started exercising, so I just had to do a number of things to kind of build up my vessel so I could be ready to power through into this next season. But there were many hard days, many, many hard days where you just feel like you're walking through the mud.
Yeah.
But you just have to put your foot ahead. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about the Instagram thing of, everybody puts their best foot forward, I think it's important to be real. And I always try to find that balance of sharing some real moments. Hey, I'm real. I struggle with this. But at the same time, you're also wanting to put your best image forward and be professional. So it's a balance, right? Of being able to be real at times and letting people in, because they won't relate to you if if you come across as perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have struggles. Right. But also, putting, great pictures out into the world, that helps.
Exactly.
Warm, smiling, being approachable. Yeah, it matters.
It definitely matters. Oh, I love it. And like I said, I'm a fashionista. I love style and I love all price points. And I was telling someone this, I was like, I can go to Target and make something look good. I'm like, if like you say, if you know your body type and your the things that look good on you. You don't have to go and spend
no, you don't.
a lot of money.
I tell my clients that, shop consignment, thrift it's such a great way to just experiment. When you're experimenting with your style, go shop thrift. You're not going to spend a bunch of money, but you can, for pretty inexpensively try things that you might not normally try. You don't have to spend a fortune. Plus it's just kinder to the environment to shop reused. But when I designed my program initially, it was a pretty expensive private coaching package model. And now over the last 3 years, it's evolved to where it's very affordable. So anybody listening, just know that it's, when you look at the price, you're gonna be like, oh, I could do that. $127 a month for 4, So it's really affordable. And I've trained a team of apprentice virtual stylists from around the world, because I now train stylists to do virtual styling. So we have some built-in support where if you get stuck, there's always style coaching opportunities if you're working through the program and you need help. So when you brought up affordable, I just want to make sure people know, like, this is within reach. This is within reach.
Yeah. And, and you mentioned virtual stylist. For those out there who are not really sure what that is, explain a virtual stylist.
It's just where you're doing everything online. Yeah. You've got a stylist who is working personally with you. There might be a Zoom session, but I've actually designed tools and templates in the Google Suite that are interactive. So the client is able to upload pictures and write in some of their, adjectives or their goals or their notes, sort of like an intake form. And then the stylist then does the work inside this document and then shares it with the client, presents, here's your colors. This is what you need to know about your color contrast level. These are your inherent colors, your neutral colors. Here's how to wear them, so it's this whole online process where it's interactive. You're both working on a shared, actually it's Google Slides. You're working on a shared file. That's like a template. And then, so it's all online. It's really cool. And then when you're done, you have this guidebook of everything you learned, all the pictures, your outfits, how to improve them. You have that all. You can just save it as a PDF on your phone or just refer to it on your phone anytime. So
then when you have something that you want to get dressed for, you can always refer back and look at those styles and see which one you want to go with or how to make that style that you liked so well.
We have the $1 Million Look checklist that reminds you of everything you learned when you went through the program, those 7 steps. And I teach all my clients the most amazing thing, which is create a lookbook. It's just an album on your phone of you wearing all the outfits you put together. So you just stand in front of the mirror, full length selfie, cute pose, smile. Because when you have an album of all your looks and it's on you, when you're looking good, hair and makeup, in the morning, when you're just having your coffee, you're like, what am I going to wear? Let's see. And you're just scrolling, casually drinking your coffee, looking at your lookbook. How do I want to feel today? It's all right there. Wow. So easy. You don't have to go stand in front of a cluttered closet. I did that for years and it's too early. It's too much to try to stand there and be thinking, okay, here's a top. What goes with this top? Okay, here's, no, right. That's too much. That's a waste of time. You do it when on a day, you take a couple hours, you shoot a bunch of outfits, you've got it on your phone. And you do it when you're sitting in bed or at your, breakfast nook, just scrolling looks to say, how do I want to feel today?
That's a great idea.
Yeah. It's life-changing. Yeah. It is life-changing.
It is. Cause believe me, there's a lot of times I stand in a closet.
Yeah. Every season you just update your looks, add them to the album. It gets pretty fast. Or you discover a new outfit one day. Hey, snap a picture, put it in my album. So you now have this whole running reference. When I pack for a trip, all I do is select, okay, this, put in a new album, pack that stuff, we're set.
Wow. That's actually really good. I have to really do that. So
I could plan the trip by days. Like I already have my outfits photographed, just put it in the order and I know exactly what I'm wearing every day.
Oh, now see, that was a great gem. I have to do that.
That was a pearl.
Yeah, because I'm always like standing in the closet going, okay, here's this. Sometimes I have it in my head, but a lot of times I'm like, okay, what is it?
That's a lot to keep in our head. I mean, we got our business, we just have so much going on to have to put all, it's too much. It's too much.
It is too much. Well, Erin, we're going to go into our questions. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Who or what motivates you?
Probably my kids, my 2 kids.
Okay. What demotivates you?
What demotivates me? Ugliness. And by ugliness, I just mean visual. I'm very sensitive visually, so I need beauty in my environments.
Okay.
One of my high values.
When was a time that something was said or done to hurt you, but it worked for your good?
It's a good question. I think probably overhearing. I got a really short haircut when I was in, I don't know, 7th grade. It kind of made me look like a little boy, and overhearing some girls going, "Oh, our haircut's really too short." And I think that was like a shameful moment, but it was also a moment that I realized I don't want to have short hair. Did that work for my good? I don't know. Never gone short since.
Okay. Well,
that's a random answer. That's all I could think of at that moment.
That's okay. What is your fear?
My fear is probably, probably like not having financial security. Yeah.
Is there a time when you wish you had done something that you didn't?
Wish I had done it, but I didn't actually do it. I'm sure there is. Oh, I can't think of it right at this moment. I guess I did. I guess I did most of the things I want to do. I recently did the polar plunge on January 1st, where I dived in the cold water. Okay, here's what I wish. I went in the shallow end. My friends went in the deep end of this big kind of like creek thing. It's pretty wide. I wish I had gone in the deep end with
to just get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, I did swim, but I was like, I just want to be able to stand up just in case, you know.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Is there a time you wish you had not done something?
Had not done something. Oh, well, let's see. I recently tried a CrossFit class and I was like, that is too much for me. Yeah. I was so sore for like 2 days. I like to work out, but that's too much. That's too advanced for me.
Yes, too much. What is your definition of success?
Success is being surrounded with love and friendship. Yeah, I think ultimately that's it.
How do you recharge?
I recharge in nature and beautiful places. I love to hike and walk and run outside.
What are you awesome at?
What am I awesome at? Well, okay, I'm just kind of cliche, but I have to say style coaching. I'm pretty darn good at that. I have, helped people have some very wonderful transformations. So that's probably what I'm awesome at. I work at it.
What legacy do you want to leave?
Ooh, a legacy. A legacy of being a mentor who impacted lives. I want to change the world in the way that I can change it. And for me, that's helping kind of one person or people in my programs who can learn to celebrate their beauty and feel more confident in the world.
Wow. Erin, tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you, if they want your programs, want to work with you directly. Give us all that information.
Yes. You can go to erinmathis.com. That's ERINMATHIS.com /top 5. Just one word, top 5, and get my free guide, because I give you pretty much those top 5 tips that I would give any client right off the bat. It is specifically for women, but grab that because that's going to give you some fast results. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you like TikTok, I just recently started TikTok, Erin Style Coach, or Instagram, Erin Style Coach.
All right. Well, I thank you for being on Trina Talk. Love the gems. I think you gave some great pointers as far as what people need to do to show up as their authentic selves and feel good with how they look.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, Trina. It's been an honor.
I want to thank my guests for being on the show, and I want to thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show, and don't forget to tune in next week.